Alrighty, super kicker with Steven Fan. So glad to have you here. Look at this. We've already got Big Ben. Gonna bring on Greg right there next to me, rocking his Spider-Man t-shirt. Look at that thing. Uh-oh. And, oh, look at this. We got Brittany here too. We got a full house in
Hey,
in the chat today. So keep the chat going. Greg, let's just get into sports real quick. My Colts sucked. My Pacers sucked last night, lost to your Suns, and that's it.
oh, that's not it. My
And your
Chargers,
Chargers. Sorry, on my end.
man.
My fault. My end.
Yeah, we died another gruesome death. And if you saw the game, it was the game of the year. So I got to give them props for that. But you'll never hear me give the Raiders respect. So this one time, good job, Raiders. That's it. That's all I
And we
can give
almost
them.
got the tie. You guys screwed it up.
I don't want
We
to hear
almost got
about
the
a
tie.
tie. You will never give your division rival a tie. There's no way you can
No,
convince
my
me
man.
that the Raiders
But it
wanted to
went
see
to
the Chargers again.
overtime. It went to
Yeah, it
overtime,
did.
right? With about 6 minutes left, or was it 6 or 7 minutes left that they hit the field goal?
No, it was at the end of the game.
Oh,
There was no time left.
Okay, and that was at overtime, right?
Right. And so
Okay, so it
overtime,
would have been. Yeah,
the,
so it would have
the
been.
Raiders
It
took
would
the
have been
ball
the
down the
tie.
field.
It would have been the tie.
It would not have been the tie. There's no way that was
Where
going to
they
happen.
they were like, nope, we're gonna keep playing.
No, I'm just saying that they had the game plan, run out the clock, and then kick it. There's no way they were going to go
Yeah.
for a tie. They don't want to see the Chargers again in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Well, I mean, if they missed the field goal,
Yeah, well, there's that possibility, but no,
but
it wasn't
it,
going to happen.
but it was pretty close. What was that, like a 20 to 30 yarder?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
pretty. It was 40 plus,
Oh,
but
okay.
still,
And
any
then again,
kicker worth his salt can make that.
yeah, well, I don't know.
But
People they miss the extra points, so I guess you never
it's,
know.
I don't know. All I say is Justin Herbert leveled up in that game. I mean, coming back from 15 down in the fourth quarter
Yeah,
with touchdown, 2-point conversion, touchdown, and sending it in overtime with a tie. That dude leveled up in that fourth quarter. He was a killer. And that's just a glimpse of what you're going to see next year because dude hit another level. So I am super proud of him, proud of my squad, no matter what. But that was a heartbreaker because the best team did not win. So shout out to Big Ben. Shout out to Brittany. What's up?
Look at this. I'll trade you Jalen Hurts and eating chicken nugget for Wentz back. Oh gosh. I mean, the only thing I'll add to our season was COVID did I'm going to say it. I think COVID played a part. We had all those guys out. They say they didn't matter, but it kind of did. I mean, you have to do virtual practice. You switch things around, whatever. Anyways, so yeah. And it sounds like you guys got the right coach. I was hearing some guy talk about it today that this was Luke. What's his name? Somebody Stanley. Sorry, I can't remember his full name.
Staley.
Staley. Okay.
Brandon Staley.
He sounds like the right guy for their team. So that's good to, yeah. Because right now I know some people are questioning Frank Wright. So, but anyways, let's get into some news. So here's our old news for the week, Greg. Dave Meltzer tweeted out that WWE is considering rebranding Elimination Chamber as WrestleMania Chamber, and it might happen in Saudi Arabia. The second part, I don't really care. I mean, wherever it happens, it happens. And even if it happens before WrestleMania, if they want to change the name, I don't like people were tweeting out, Greg, of course, because everyone has to tweet out everything about every little change. Oh, they can't change the name. But I mean, in a way, if it's going to happen before WrestleMania, I'm kind of okay with it because if you always consider WrestleMania a season, then why not just add the WrestleMania name to it? So it is, I'll be interested to see how it plays out in Saudi Arabia if they do go that route. And as far as the name change, like I said, I don't really give to what shits and giggles about a name change because, I mean, we've already sat through Great Balls of Fire, Greg. does it really matter at name? I mean, honestly, we sat through the one time Great Balls of Fire that had a very suggestive looking logo. You know, that probably wasn't by accident. And if it was, man, they should have fired that graphic designer by then. But anyways, any thoughts on this whole name change? Because like I said, I don't really care. But I knew it was news, so I threw it out there.
Well, you don't do it because it sounds stupid. WrestleMania Chamber? Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, Elimination Chamber lives up to the name. I mean, it is what it is. It's the Elimination Chamber. WrestleMania Chamber? I mean, come on, man.
Now,
It's
could it be because Saudi Arabia, maybe they don't want maybe they're weird about the word elimination? I don't know. That could be. That's a
possible.
very far. That's
Why are
probably
you doing
me
this-
reaching, but you know.
Right, but why are they doing this in Saudi Arabia anyway? I
Well,
mean,
that's the thing. I mean,
know they're giving
they did Hell in a Cell in Saudi Arabia, so I guess you could have the word hell. But
sure,
maybe
but that's at the
elimination.
end of the year when you're sending everybody on holiday because they want to. It's the end of the year. I mean, we're talking about the beginning of WrestleMania season,
That's
and now
true.
you're sending a major event over to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're getting a lot of money from the Saudis, but you got to draw a line somewhere.
I guess they're
mean,
just trying to
taking
get
that
all
from
those. Could be trying to get those shows out of the way too, because I think they're due for like 8 or 9 shows there total, and we've had what 4 or 5, so we still got a few more years there. And but anyways, here's the better news, Greg. Asuka should be in the Royal Rumble.
Hey, that's what I'm
I
talking
mean,
about right
there you
there.
go.
Let's go.
Let's go,
Let's get
Asuka.
my girlfriend back in the mix. And
I don't know if she'll win it, but maybe, I think she comes out towards the end, gets a little love, and then hopefully back, kind of full time in the fold. Because they could use her. And of course, we did see the little Alexa Bliss promo. I love Alexa Bliss, Greg, so I love the doctor thing. And I think those are going to be fun to watch her kind of morph into whatever she's morphing into. But yeah, so your girl Asuka should be ready to go. We already lost Sasha. I don't think Bayley's coming back for it. I think Bayley's not due back for a couple more. I say keep. I mean, as much as I love Bayley, Greg, if she's not ready for Mania, then just keep her off Mania and do it the night. Make her one of those big returns after Mania. Where you're at it. So.
yeah, but I mean, hey, what bigger name can you pull right now than Asuka?
Yeah.
I mean, she's been off TV for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time you can hit a full reset and bring her back out as Killer Asuka instead of happy, dancy, screaming Asuka. Bring her back as the kick-ass, the most dangerous woman on the roster. And everybody's going to eat it up. You can, switch up the character. You don't have to switch up the look or anything because everybody knows who Asuka is.
Yeah.
But you got a main eventer back in the mix. It's better. You want to put her in at the top. I mean, nobody's really buying. No disrespect to you, but Liv Morgan against Becky Lynch or Doudrop against Becky Lynch, Asuka against Becky Lynch. On the other hand, now we're talking. I mean, Asuka was the last mountain that Becky really had to climb as far as the woman she couldn't beat, and now put her back in the mix. Absolutely, let's do that.
I mean, I feel like Bianca's still the other big WrestleMania match for Becky, just because I think you want to give them that big singles match at Mania. But like you said, Asuka is an interesting way to go because you could bring up the Money in the Bank stuff and Becky could play it up like, I want to beat you. I don't want to just hand you my title because you want a Money in the Bank. So, I mean, I know you love you some Asuka, Greg, but I still don't think she's winning it. Sorry. Like I said, I think she shows up, like a big pop at the end, maybe Final 4, maybe Final 5, 6-ish.
True.
And then we'll kind of see where that goes. So,
and she doesn't have to win. She can just
true.
show up and still be in the top of the main event picture.
Of course. Yeah.
So she doesn't have to win in order to be at that top of the card.
And I wonder if you have Brock and Roman still at the top of the mountain, Greg. Well, those two guys are main eventing both nights. It's either Brock Saturday or Roman, probably Roman Sunday. But yeah, like even if the women, even if you have the best women's match, if Brock, Roman are still like, unless you're doing the collision course of them together, they're probably going to be kind of main eventing. On a side note, Brittany does not want to have a foursome with us in the dirty way. I'm kind of a little sad about that, but that's okay. I guess we'll just stick it to the live reaction for WrestleMania. But my confidence just went down the toilet. So thanks to that, Brittany, for those comments. But anyways, let's get to some Raw stuff. I mentioned earlier on our pre-show, Greg, a little bit of a time crunch today. We kind of want to get out of here by 12:30, but so we might just hit, some little things here and there. I will say Bobby Lashley destroying the Hurt Business is not good. I feel like those two guys should definitely not be answering their phones if it's from a Connecticut number, or at least Shelton. I think Cedric might be okay, but, Shelton. But let's get to the Alpha Academy, Greg. I did call that Alpha Academy was due, and they pulled off the win. So does that mean we're getting Orton and Riddle for Mania?
It looks that way, and props to you. You called that, and I didn't want to believe it, but it looks like that's what it has to be. I mean, Orton versus Riddle at WrestleMania. Oh, that would be huge. So now you have 2+ months to build up the new feud between Randy and Riddle, and we're gonna have to do kind of a semi-slow build to it because you don't have that much time, but.
Well, that's what I'm wondering if you could wait it out. Because if we already got, I was going to bring this up, if we have Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley doing the whole tag team breaking up, I don't want to go the same route with RK Bros. So I almost wonder if they'll kind of just sort out problems through Mania, and then maybe that night after Mania or something like that, then maybe they lose at Mania, then you get, Backlash, I think is after WrestleMania usually. So that makes sense to do the singles match.
True, but you can't close the RK Bro story without the blow-up match. And show the full evolution of Riddle from, class clown in the back to serious main event worthy Riddle, who's sat under the learning tree and evolved. You got to show that payoff, and it's going to happen, but tied in with Rhea and Nikki, like you said, it's a little too much at the same time. Yeah.
So that's all. I mean, and that could be like a SummerSlam. Like you build it through the summer.
Right.
Maybe one guy costs the other guy the Money in the Bank. But yeah, I kind of feel like we're not going to see any cracks in the foundation yet. Like maybe they'll get a rematch. Maybe I don't think maybe they'll win by DQ. So you kind of keep them. Maybe it's good. It's probably going to be Riddle trying to keep the team, but I still would like to see Riddle maybe do the turn, not necessarily heel, but just get tired of Orton in a way, like Orton not believing, something like that. I don't know. Like you said, I don't want to rush it. I don't think it needs to be a Mania feud. And as much as we want everything to be a Mania feud because that's Mania. Anymore, Greg, sometimes Mania is just the beginning. So I guess it could, but at the same time, I feel like with the Nikki and Rhea stuff, you're almost going the same exact route, and I don't necessarily like the same, especially on the same show. Maybe if they were opposite brands, you could kind of work it out, but and then we can talk about that, Greg. It feels like Nikki is going to be the like the Kevin Owens, thinking she's in the right, but she's really in the wrong.
Yeah.
And I wonder if she'll still be Nikki Ash, but she's going to just say, I'm the hero. You just, that whole just not self-aware of what she really is. And I think that could be kind of a different look at her character. Not necessarily a heel, well, probably a heel, but in the, I don't really think I'm a heel way. So what are we feeling about Nikki and Rhea headed on a collision course towards Mania, it looks like?
Actually, I like it because it's flipping the script in the sense of the smaller person being the one who's going to go on the more evil path.
Yeah.
And standing next to each other, Rhea Ripley should be able to kill her in
Mhm.
5 seconds, and having it the kind of being reversed. I like the dynamic because it happened very often,
Mhm.
and it's going to be interesting to see what Nikki does to counter the obvious difference in size and power and everything, and it becomes a little diabolical. So I
Mhm.
want to see what she can do.
Yeah. And like we said, maybe like New Day, where they thought they were faces at the very beginning of the run, but people weren't buying into it. Granted, they weren't buying into it, but they kind of just ran with it. So you wonder if Nikki, this might, Greg, I've talked up. Oh man, she better just watch those firing papers. This might kind of save her if she can make something out of it for herself. Kind of get that confidence and aura back about her. So, a couple things we missed there: Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, Apollo Crews defeated the United States champion Damian Priest and Street Profits. We're still kind of pushing Dolph Ziggler as the next challenger for the United States Championship. The U.S. title for me, Greg, is always one of those. I don't mind if if 3 or 4 guys are vying for it, and then Mania could be a ladder match or fatal 4-way. But right now, just Dolph Ziggler is not the guy I want to see chasing, um, Damian Priest. I mean, it's giving you the whole different sides of Damian Priest, but at the same time, it's Dolph Ziggler, Greg. Like that ship has sailed so far, in the ocean, and I mean Robert Roode. Like if I was, I don't know how he's like those paychecks must be really good for him, Greg, because he is one of those guys. Like I'm just surprised he's still there. So,
Mhm.
and we thought we were going to get the Apollo Crews stuff, and I'd be fine with that because you kind of have, with the dynamic of Commander Aziz to kind of back up Apollo Crews. So, any thoughts, Greg, on that whole whatever fatal or 3-man match, 3-man tag team match there?
Yeah, it was a mess, and I get what they're going for,
Mhm.
but I agree with you that Ziggler's not the guy, and I don't want to see Street Profits taking L's again so soon. So it was bad for me. I didn't enjoy it, but if you're not gonna like how all the storylines play out, so I'm just giving it the pass, and I want to see that now the Alki Bro is out of the picture. Maybe Street Profits can get back in the mix with Alpha Academy. So
Yeah.
we still got to do something with them for WrestleMania. So I haven't lost faith in them still winning the titles at WrestleMania.
I mean, you probably throw RK Bro, Street Profits, maybe Ziggler Rude, in a just all your tag teams in some
Yeah.
sort of tag team scramble match or whatever. So, um, are we pouring one out for Big E's run yet, Greg, or do we have to see how Rumble goes for him? Because I'm getting a little worried. I
Yeah.
get why Seth Rollins had to pick up. Well, you could have done a DQ to kind of keep Biggie, but Biggie getting in the pin last night. I don't think he's going to win the Rumble, but is this maybe that lead up to that? I mean, I just gave him Money in the Bank. I don't feel like they'll give him the Rumble win too. So
Yeah.
is it time to cut our losses with Big E's time at the main event scene and see where he goes?
I want to I'm keeping the light on for him.
Hope
I'm
alive.
hoping that, yep, it, uh, it looks bleak for him, but it's when you think that they're gone that that gets the biggest reaction when they win. So
Yeah.
um, after this pay-per-view is going to say a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that E's run is not over because he still could have some awesome matches with
With
Lashley, who he
Roman.
beat,
Yeah.
and
Roman, Brock.
Roman. I would love to see him and Brock.
Mhm.
Um, so there's some juicy matchups for him, but if he's not a legitimate contender for the title, then don't waste it because there's still going to be time for it later. But I'm holding on to that slightest thread of hope that his run is not over, but it might be time to go out and put those 40s in the fridge.
And I mean, I hate, as you know, as much as I bash on Bill, I'll just say Bill, Greg. If Big E wants that match for Mania, just give it to him. Like, have him be Goldberg's last match. And, that's something. That's like my lifeboat. Like, if there's nothing else out there, just kind of throw out the life preserver to give him the jacket. But I will say, if he's like last 4 in the Rumble, Greg, I'll be like, okay, they're still feeling okay. Maybe Goldberg eliminates him, unfortunately, but because that's the thing. Like, is maybe Goldberg in the match as a surprise, and that has to maybe that's one of the matches. But yeah, so almost defeated the local guy. We continue, like we said, almost is going to get the dominating stuff, look in the Rumble, and then we think, he'll just get dropped by 5 guys. AJ Styles and Austin Theory ended in no contest. That's a match, Greg, that I'm glad it ended in no contest. It looks like AJ's kind of doing I'm going to put over whoever I can. Yeah. And I love that for AJ. I mean, I know it's AJ. Does he deserve some run at the top? Probably. But at the same time, it's probably like him and Edge. And that's why I would love to see them kind of cross head just to, WrestleMania. That's like my WrestleMania match for Edge and AJ Styles, but it could be even after that. So, we kind of saw that. Any thoughts on AJ Styles and Austin Theory, Greg?
Yeah, I agree with that. It was a great match too. I really enjoyed the match. And then him getting involved with Waller also, who jumped into the match. Before he did, him and Austin Theory were having a great match. I was really enjoying it. So I'm really enjoying how Austin Theory is getting over right now. The whole Vince McMahon behind the scenes thing is a little weird, but it shows faith in Austin, and he's showing what he can do in the ring. And I agree, AJ looks like he's doing his best to help these young guys, these new guys, get over, and it's working. His match with Waller looked great on NXT 2.0. This match was awesome, and so I think after WrestleMania, we aren't going to see much of AJ. He's going to really go into that part-time role.
Yeah.
So in this lead up to WrestleMania, we're going to see him with more of these new guys, and he's going to pretty much kind of write himself off after WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that's I wonder how much we'll see him like on a full-time. Like, is this the legit last run? Without it being written, being said, unwritten, unsaid, type run. And finally, Greg, we got to the main event. Doudrop defeated Bianca Belair. Liv Morgan earned a opportunity against Becky Lynch. This is kind of where I went. I was like, oh, Doudrop's kind of the odd woman out. You save Bianca and Liv down the road. Why not give Doudrop a chance to kind of go against Becky and see what she could do? So I like that Doudrop won the match. I thought maybe some sort of shenanigans, and we did have, Becky kind of evolve herself, but Doudrop picks up the win. I also brought up the Alexa Bliss little document or doctor segment, which was kind of funny, and just adding another layer to her character, Greg. But what do we think about Doudrop picking up the win here?
Love it. Give us something new. Give us something we haven't seen yet. She's already gone multiple rounds with Liv and Bianca, and now let's get a fresh face in there. And I love the end of the match where Becky goes in to do her I respect you, let's shake hands, and then hit her with the manhandle. And she goes in, let's shake hands, and she couldn't get the manhandle. Oh, and Doudrop got the one up on her. So I liked how that finish turned out, and now it kind of puts that doubt in her mind and everybody's mind. Is she going to be able to get Doudrop in the manhandle slam? Doudrop looks like she's got a good 100 pounds on her.
Yeah.
So it creates an interesting dynamic that we haven't seen with her and anybody pretty much. in relations to size. So I love it, and I like it that Dewdrop has been put in the picture. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's see
And
that.
it's an interesting, like, this is the heel versus heel dynamic. So if Becky does hit that manhandle slam, all the cheers are going to her, even though she'll probably win some nefarious way.
Yeah,
So it's going to be an interesting, it'll be, I'm guessing it'll be kind of a split crowd. And that's why I said it's hard to do with the heel versus heel, but you're doing that Royal Rumble, kind of let it play out there and see how that goes. So next up, let's look at some NXT stuff. Looking here, Greg, we had Braun Breaker kind of usher in the new era. Like we said, Ciampa did a couple dark matches, dyed the beard all brown, Greg, because nobody likes a gray beard, whatever. But yeah, we'll see how that works out. How about Escobar defeating Zion Quinn and Elektra just all on Escobar's side? I'm guessing we like it because we didn't need another Dexter Loomis, Indy Hartwell, weird, love triangle thing or, romance. So this shows Elektra full out heel. It gives you the babyface sympathy for Zion Quinn to hopefully overcome Escobar down the road. So what do you think about it all, Greg?
yeah, I liked it. It gave it that doubt who is Letcher going to go with, and they painted this story out really well on that end. From the moment Zion was introduced to having him interact with the Legato, and to now with the payoff, and they were all expecting it to lean the other way with her taking Zion's side, and we got our swerve at the end and a little kick in the package and game over. And so I liked how it ended, just because you're thinking one way and they go the other. So keep the faction strong, and it's a bigger moment for Zion when he does overcome. So yeah, it was all good.
And I don't want to be kicked in the package, Greg, but hey, if there's gonna be a woman who does it, I guess it might as well be Elektra Lopez, because some of her Instagram is like, whoo, yeah. So, anyways, Cameron Grimes defeated some guy. You know what, Greg? I think it's time to call up Cameron Grimes. I feel like he's lost down there. He could be one of those guys that, like a Damian Priest, where it's just like, okay, you're not doing much down there. Let's see if this can carry to the main roster. I feel like To the Moon, people will chant that with him. Now, I don't know how long it will last, Greg, but it almost feels like worth a shot to do it because, like I said, he just looks not bigger than the brand down there, but at the same time doesn't look like he needs to be down there. So you wonder if Cameron Grimes might get a small run in the Rumble, kind of see what the reaction is, and then, maybe just be a kind of a weird call up before WrestleMania or maybe right after WrestleMania to kind of see where he goes. Does that make? What do you think for Cameron Grimes and NXT 2.0, Greg?
Hey, I'm with you. I mean, how many people are still chanting "What's up" when R-Truth comes out?
Yeah,
If you do it right, this thing can last
that's
forever.
true. Yeah.
So I totally endorse him getting into the Royal Rumble and then bringing him up full time, because his run really is done down there. He has nowhere else to go. There's no, you can put him against a couple of the new kids, but for what?
Yeah.
He's had some great rivalries down there. The whole $1 million thing was epic, but it's obvious they're filtering out all the veterans out of 2.0, and this is his time because the gimmick, it rivals Baron Corbin a little too closely, but just in the sense of one being a babyface, one being a heel, put them on opposite shows, it can work. And like I said, the to the moon thing will definitely be chanted every time he comes out, because everybody's going to know who he is, and give him some mic time, he'll be over in no time. So yeah, I definitely need to see him on the main roster instead of 2.0, because it looks
I
like
mean, you
his
could
run is
even
out.
do him against Happy Corbin because of the parallels and the fact that people are so behind Cameron Grimes. So it could be something to even look at if you want to do, kind of a rivalry there. So Joe Gacy and Harlan were disqualified. We're just seeing Harlan be this killer. Any thoughts on this match for you, Greg?
I don't enjoy this group. I don't know if they're over my head or they're just as bad as I think they are.
Yeah.
So they're not fun for me.
Mm-hmm. And then how about Tony D'Angelo and Pete Dunne? Do you think, well, I've heard Pete Dunne's had a couple dark matches. He's another guy, Greg. I wonder, he's been in a Rumble before, but then he never got the full call out, if I remember right. I felt like he was in the Rumble, but maybe he hasn't been. But I think I like to see him in the Rumble, kind of, crack some fingers and get a couple eliminations, get a couple run in there, a little bit of a run and see where you're at. But like Cameron Grimes, he feels like, okay, you've put over Tony D'Angelo. Now it's time for you to get called up. And, and maybe on SmackDown, you can have, McAfee kind of build him up, kind of like, because they were that whole whatever we never really had a name for them. But, so you could, he's already lost Oney Orkin and Danny Burch, but at least you got Pete Dunne still there. I'd like to see him get a main roster run.
Yeah, he's way overdue for it. He's got the body of work. People know who he is. And, it's that time. He would be awesome on the main roster. So, and definitely put him on SmackDown so McAfee can put him over. He's putting over Shinsuke and Books over like nothing.
And it's working.
Yeah, it's absolutely working. So he could do the same with Pete Dunne. And, he'd be one of the, mid to top card guys, right off the bat. They do it right.
Mm-hmm. What about this Wendy Chu napping character? I don't know what the reason is. I'll be interested to see if they could give us a background on why it happens.
Yeah.
If they can. Because it's like they've been doing it. She shows up in the back wherever she's at. I think she was on, when they were doing that talk show, she was back napping. I guess she's a pretty legit wrestler too. So, hopefully she'll get to show that off a little bit. But, any thoughts there, Greg?
Well, yeah, they're showing her waking up from her run as Tia Shaw, what was her name? Ming.
Yeah.
What her name was, but
Mei Ying. Yeah.
Mei Ying, yeah.
Yeah.
And now I guess that was all a bad dream, and she's waking up out of that. And but to come into the ring in slippers and just waking up long enough to get in some action, it's
and then go back to sleep.
Definitely taking it to an extreme. I don't hate it.
I was gonna say, do you feel like it's almost gonna get over because I think it's just quirky enough? Sometimes people go for those so outlandish that you almost hate, you almost love it. I feel like that's what they're trying for. Now whether it works, we'll see. Brodus Clay got over for a hot minute, and look what he was.
That's true.
Dinosaur. Or Luchasaurus. Now the guy can wrestle, but yeah, and that's the thing. Once they show Wendy can do some in the moves or do something in the ring, it might kind of make it work together. So
right. I was wondering if she's doing her Orange Cassidy impersonation. It's just, she's so slow, she barely moves, and then she's off like a rocket for about 20 seconds, and then she goes back to sleep, back to sloth style. So
she just suffers from sleep insomnia. She just has a bad case of insomnia. So and then Solo, Sequoia, and Boa, they had no contest. That makes sense because both those guys need the win.
Yeah.
We're seeing what Boa, he's trying to figure out who he is. I still think Solo is up after Mania, Greg. I just feel like if the bloodline is still where they should be, it just makes sense to kind of call him up and get him all with them. So, any thoughts on there?
Nope, I totally agree with it. I think that's why he's not involved in any real rivalry right now.
Yeah.
It's just he's kind of, sitting on ready for WrestleMania because he's going to have a big moment, I think, at WrestleMania with the Usos.
Yeah.
And, that's going to be his arrival. So, put him in a little something just to, keep his
Get
face
ready.
out there,
Yeah.
but not anything really involved as far as long-term storytelling goes.
And then Carmel Hayes was reminding everybody he's the A champion. Did we say if we see Roderick Strong gone now, Greg? Do you think Roderick Strong is out the door?
Yep, it looks that way. I mean, they didn't mention him. We saw Malcolm Bivens out there recruiting. I forgot who it was, whose match he came out for, but he's obviously looking for somebody else. But nobody mentioned him, not even commentary. So yeah, I think game over for him, and we're gonna see the four-man undisputed era on AEW real soon.
Because they're gonna have that's gonna turn into the NWO pretty soon over there with adding Britt Baker to the mix like they did on Wednesday night. So yeah, we're gonna see fake Sting pretty soon there. And then AJ Styles defeated Grayson Waller. I know you did call this, Greg. So yeah, I think it made sense for AJ to pick up the win, give Grayson the bigger win. Maybe on Raw, or like a takeover or something like that. So maybe AJ does double duty at Mania and does wrestle. Maybe they do WrestleMania match. We've had the NXT women's title. Did we have it defended when Charlotte was women's champion? I think it was the first time defended on Mania. So maybe they'll put, like Waller in a WrestleMania match against AJ and kind of give him the big win there. So, thoughts on that?
It's possible. I don't see AJ involved in anything unless he sticks with this storyline. But like I called it, he's after he getting this win, passes it off to my dude LA Knight, who's making his big return after getting taken out in the parking lot by Waller. Yeah. Which is what you need because, there's no more Ciampa. Well, we haven't seen Ciampa. There's no more Gargano. There's no Kyle O'Reilly. There's no big baby faces on the veteran side. And, you're going to need somebody like LA Knight to step to the front and have an AJ put him over and bring him out, puts him right at the top. So I love it, obviously. And, I think that we're definitely going to see, that great program with these two, Waller and Knight, and then I'm still determined to see him on the main roster before the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So I like the way it plays out, but AJ and Waller at WrestleMania could be huge. But I don't want my boy Knight left out of the mix. So. I was wondering if AJ is just leaving him for Knight and those two carry it on. So,
I guess that makes sense too.
Yeah, because Waller just sharing the ring with AJ levels him up too. So, he's already looked at as more of a big deal from interacting with AJ, regardless of what the outcome is.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into some SmackDown talk. We had Viking Raiders win a fatal 4-way going against the Usos. I'm going to assume this probably happens on a SmackDown sometime. I don't think it happens at Rumble. I mean, if it does, that's fine too. But Viking Raiders probably made the most sense out of those teams right now. Just even though they did just lose last week and then they win this week, but still a little bit of momentum. I want to see Viking Raiders fight, and Usos never put out a bad match. So hopefully they can kind of set that up with the Viking Raiders there, Greg. So thoughts on Viking Raiders winning the fatal 4-way match to open SmackDown?
Well, that was a horrible mix of tag teams for sure. Yeah. So they were the only team that made sense. But are they going to be able to give the Viking Raiders their legitimacy back? That's the problem. Yeah. Because they've been at the bottom of the card, chasing around the 24/7 title and doing everything counter to being a big deal for a long time. So I don't think anybody's going to really take them seriously. But, if anybody could shine them up, it's the Usos. So,
Yeah.
They could still, have a pretty awesome match if given the opportunity. So I'll reserve judgment on it. But yeah, it just shows how shallow the tag team division is.
Then we had Sami Zayn's his try at Jackass style stuff. It did not work well. You had freshly cut Rick Boogs, who remind me a lot of Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah,
Circus, like those circus strongmen from back in the day. Greg, I'm waiting for him to grow out a curly mustache, almost like the vaudevillains. Back in the day with Aiden English and Simon Gotch. So they got the upper hand on Sami Zayn. We all know Sami Zayn will eliminate Johnny Knoxville, Greg. But any thoughts on Rick Boogs' fresh haircut? Because that's pretty much the only storyline that we got out of that.
Yeah, very Freddie Mercury. As soon as he popped up there, I was like, is he doing a Freddie Mercury cosplay right here?
Yeah.
And I was looking to see if it was really cut his hair short, if it was in a ponytail.
Or it was like a really tight, that's what I thought, like a tight ponytail. And I'm like, nope, that is definitely gone.
Wow. So I like it. I mean, but
Did he need it?
It's always a little shocking seeing it for the first time.
Yeah. Because you wonder if he'll take away from his the rock star thing, but like we said, if he plays up some of the Freddie Mercury mannerisms, it could kind of go. How about this, Greg? Natalya carrying around a Guinness World Book of Records in case you still care about Guinness World Book Records, which I haven't since grade school when I used to take out those books from the library, and I feel like that's like the thing. But Aaliyah picks up the win for fastest victory ever in WWE, 3.17 seconds to win, which, now that gives her something. Like they joked, you could get a Aaliyah 317 shirt out there, Greg. Just like the Sheamus, whatever he beat Daniel Bryan in. So, I mean, and what better way to beat than Natalya, who has 3 Guinness World Book records, which once again, I don't really care that Natalya has 3 Guinness World Book of Records because I haven't cared about Guinness World Book of Records since, whenever. So, any thoughts on Aaliyah? Now officially the fastest victory in WWE history.
Yeah, it was a little hot mess the way they built up to it. Yeah. But the referee, can you go, and say nothing, and then, okay, she can't compete. And her begging, and okay, she can't compete. And like the build up to it was ridiculous. But the pin and the aftermath, and like, okay, fine, we get it. And so we'll let it go. Aaliyah gets her big win because she got screwed out of her. What was it? The match she got screwed out of last year.
She was supposed to be in the. Wasn't she supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber?
And that was some multi-girl match to it.
Sorry,
Survivor Series. Yeah.
Yes.
And Sonya Deville took her spot. So, yeah. So she gets her moment, and now she's got a record, and she should find some way to use that. Aaliyah 317 would be hilarious. I'm gonna, because
you're going to see a sign or two next week for it.
Yeah.
Even if they're planted, which I don't care because you might as well help her get over.
True.
Or there might be the old Cesaro section. It might be a 317 section. So which has been a worse gimmick for Natalya, Greg? The farting gimmick that they try to play her up way back in the day, or this walking around with the Guinness World Book of Records?
Man, that's 6 and 1.5 dozen of the other, man.
Because I love a good fart. So for me, I was like, whatever. I'm still. I love Jackass. So of course I'm going to love a good fart joke. But this whole like her walking around with this book, like I hope she doesn't keep doing it. Like hopefully this was just because of last night and Aaliyah beating her now. So
No, that's the thing. I didn't even know she had 3 Guinness World Records.
I know,
So,
yeah.
Did you?
No. Like I said, I couldn't even tell you any Guinness World Book records unless I had the book back in the day for like 1996 or something like that. All I remember is the long ass fingernails guy that like the nails curled up. Like his fingernails were so long. That's the only thing. And then like the midgets and then the tallest people. That's about it. That's all I got, Greg. Like I think the tallest man was 8 something. Like 8 something, which is like you think, Shaq is 7'1", Greg Conley's 7'4". I mean, I think 8 foot is just like that's some basketball goals. So how about Lita? She actually gave a good promo. Like for me, Greg, Lita's never been a promo, and I remember her Hall of Fame speech, which was one of the just most out there. She kept trying to give little jokes and like nobody got them or something. So I thought she actually held her own with Charlotte, which probably helped because Charlotte, is a good promo herself. I'm going to assume Charlotte throws her out, but at least it might be nice to see Lita through WrestleMania. Like I'd like to see Lita through WrestleMania. I mean, her and Trish, I'm still holding out hope. Her and Trish against like Bayley and Sasha, like that would be so much fun to do, or something like that. So, what do we think about Lita and Charlotte little interaction there on SmackDown?
Yeah, it was a fun promo. Lita was kind of, aw shucks with it until Charlotte came out and, started jabbing at her and poking at, Trish. And holy cow, that outfit, holy cow, Charlotte.
Like at first, I was like, I didn't know what she had on at first. I was like, what?
But it was good. And then, but the missed lap and leads to the twist of fate. Yeah. I don't think that she throws out Lita though. I think maybe the other way around that ends up leading to a big match.
Okay. Yeah.
That would make more sense, I think. So
do we think Lita? But what about Lita and Charlotte's kind of a mixture. Like, is that something you're dying to see at WrestleMania, though, Greg? Like, I feel like Lita and Sasha, they match up a little bit better, or Lita and Bayley. Like, that would be, because we've seen Charlotte and Trish, which I guess if you want to play up Charlotte, you could have her beat both of them. But yeah, I guess I do like your idea that Lita throws out Charlotte but then she got the upper hand last night. So it makes you wonder, like, does that lead into, now we got 2 weeks away still. So we just still need to see Mickie James on TV before Royal Rumble. That's what with her little hardcore country song and the Impact title and see how that works out. So Sheamus defeated Ricochet. What I'm seeing, Greg, is everyone wants Sheamus back with Cesaro. So, if we can get another, the bar reunion with Ridge added to it, I'd actually be okay with that. Because right now Cesaro is Cesaro, and, if you're going to, I guess Ridge Holland is, I thought they did declare him for the Rumble, though, so he should be good to go then. But I would like to see a bar 2.0, kind of thrown together and see where that could go. Any love for that idea, Greg?
Yeah, I think it looks great. I mean, those three together, they will look like a natural. Bar 2.0 with 3 of them looking like these guys. It could be, the front line of a soccer team or a rugby team, even better. It would look great. By the way, that 40 that I put into the fridge for Big E, I'm already tipping it out for Ricochet. Oh. My dude.
I was going to say, when had that been done, like years ago?
yeah, but you thought when they drafted him that they would have something for him. But he's just taking L's after L's after L's. And I was hoping that, with him, the move that broke Ridge's nose,
That could be
and
something, yeah.
being put into something with Sheamus that it could be leading to something big, you know. But it's just a fluke pin. They're not building on it. He's back to taking L's, and he's going to be buried, in the bottom of the mid card if he's on TV at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already tipping my 40 to Ricochet and hoping that his contract expires soon so he can get out of there.
And be Prince Puma again.
Prince Puma, or go to AEW and be and have baller matches. I mean, but we need to bring back Lucha Underground is what we need to do. But
could he go to WWE and be like, hey, let me go under a mask and kind of see where it goes? I mean,
hey, it works.
They let Nikki run with this superhero thing, so I mean, what's it going to hurt to ask?
Hey, at this moment, he has nothing to lose. I mean,
somebody did joke. They go, why not just put him with the bar and call him Rick O'Shea?
Oh God. That's so horrible.
A little black Irishman action. Be a little bit different. Anyway, so I mean, Greg, he's got nothing. Yeah, my 40. I had a river of 40 for him back in that has been flowing. So for Ricochet, because man, yeah, he hasn't done. And I mean, his promos are hit or miss. I mean, Drew called him out a long time ago. First promos kind of was right there, like the writing on the wall. That just kind of did it for me. So, yeah. Anyways, by the way, we did not mention Xavier Woods out for about 4 to 6 weeks because of the match last week. So now Kofi Kingston, Greg, has got to go it alone against the happy couple, Corbin and Madcap Moss. He eats an L. I don't know who's going to come to, the 8. I guess if Drew's back soon, then you could have Drew and Kofi kind of, go against them. But I don't know where we're going, where we're going to get help for Kofi right now, Greg.
Yeah, because we're not putting E in this hot mess of a mix here.
No, because that would really that would just totally make me realize that his time at the top is done.
Yeah, it's Kofi's going to just start doing some random singles matches and maybe have a real strong Rumble, and they can reposition him somewhere else. But I hope the Corbin thing isn't what his plan is until for Mania season, because that would be a waste. He's still a big draw. He still can go with anybody on the roster. So hopefully this is just a little blip and it leads to something bigger. So
I mean, he'll have to do his Rumble spot. We've already I don't know what he can do next. I mean, you've had hopping on the barricade. You've had the chair was probably the one that I love the most. The chair hopping to the ring. I mean, that's pretty hard to outdo that one. Even though I think Naomi kind of pulled the same thing off. So, yeah. But we'll see what he's got in the works for this year. So, yeah, maybe Xavier's throne is there or something like that, and he could just hop into that, lands in that, and they have to carry him to the ring or something. But yeah, and then finally Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins came face to face. The Usos tried to lay out Seth. Seth ran away from them. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see this match, like with the crowd, kind of going back and forth, and both guys just so different from where they were. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see next week what they do. I'm going to assume we'll get a contract signing because that always has to happen. But any thoughts on the last segment, Greg? And then we'll do a quick commercial break and get AEW.
Yeah, fun last segment. The promo was good, and I enjoyed the the flashback moments of the Shield, the greatest hits that they were playing in the lead up to it. It's definitely a huge, contrast then and now, which is I'm sure they wanted you to see. And Seth showing that, I got eyes in the back of my head. I taught you how to do this.
Mhm.
And, being able to artfully dodge out when the Usos are coming for the blind side was pretty slick.
Mhm.
And, get back in there like this is all you got. So loved it just for the way they played out, how slick they made him. That I may be goofy and dressed like a disco ball, but I've still been around, doing this a lot longer than you have. So
Mhm.
it's a cool dynamic that they're starting to create there. So I'm gonna be interested in seeing what happens in the next couple of weeks too.
And I thought the line, "What I created you and I can break you," I think that's a good kind of dig at Roman because Seth was the guy that came out the strongest of them, like at first.
Yeah.
So that was pretty telling. So let's do a couple commercial breaks real quick. Get you some energy talk. We'll get you some elite performance, and then we'll get into and then we'll get the Sean Nugent. So we'll get all the commercial breaks. You can go get a drink of water. Get ready for AEW talk. Some fun stuff there happening in AEW.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Dan over at BWSports1.com and Black and White Sports. And I'm wondering if you're ready to buy or sell that home, now's the time, and I got just the person for you. Mr. Sean Nugent, a.k.a. Rockstar Realtor himself. 317-503-8322. Put that home on the market. Get into your dream home with this man. Talk to Sean at Talk to Tucker today, 317-503-8322, and make sure you tell him the boys over at BWSports1.com sent you.
Alrighty, we are back. Hopefully you go check out all the lovely sponsors of BW Sports One and tell them the BW Sports One crew sent you. So good stuff there. Let's talk about the beginning of the show. Greg, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish opened the show. Best friends were out there. The Young Bucks were out there. Brandon Cutler was out there. And Britt freaking Baker got to kiss Adam Cole on TV. Unless you know the whole story, you probably don't get it, but obviously now you get it. So it's like now we just add her. They got the backstage segment. BTE this week will probably be fun to see her involved with that. So, cool for them to get to do it, some stuff together. And then, of course, they're getting ready for the mixed tag match against Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy, who are not a couple, but they're best friends. So, are good friends. So there we go, Greg. Not usually AEW doesn't open up with segments like that, but they decide to do that. But it kind of makes sense because that's kind of your big stuff right now. You had Adam Page in the middle of the show, but that's kind of your big feud. Best friends, whatever the super click, whatever we're calling them, with all the different parts. And now we could get Roderick Strong involved at some point. Who knows? But yeah. What do you think about the beginning, Greg, and the heels getting over on the faces?
Yeah, it was a fun opening segment. A little unexpected because they'd kept Adam Cole and Britt Baker, out of the same segments or even of mentioning each other aside from a couple random times.
Yeah.
And the way it began with, the with Red Dragon, Kyle Riley, Bobby Fish, and the Young Bucks going at each other and, potentially calling each other out. Mm-hmm. Adam Cole having to step in and be the middleman. I liked how this began even before the match, and then with the whole thing and him pointing to get the kiss and Britt Baker being there. It's like, no, this is my kiss. I'm like, oh, okay, this is unexpected. Just having her there to begin with and just kind of exposing it for those who didn't know that they're a couple. Now you know.
Now you know. And, I was going to say, now it's pretty official. Well, not that it hasn't been, but,
Yeah, Kat's officially out of the bag now. So worst kept secret in AEW is now out. And it was a good match. Really enjoyed the match. But this is the way to, it shows the levels, the super click, the whatever they call all these guys is still a mile ahead of the best friends right now. And it's just going to be a mountain to climb for the best friends. And I like that Statlander got involved with Britt, just kind of to even the odds. And it's going to make some really good matches down the road, like this next match with Orange and Chris against Adam and Britt. So I get why they did it, because now you've expanded on the storyline by adding the women to the mix. So all good, loved it.
And yeah, now we got all the parts kind of played out. So how about the CM Punk Wardlow match? We're really getting to that turn, Greg, and I think the fans are really going to be behind Wardlow, and that's going to be interesting to see how does Wardlow transition into that face character, because we even saw last night the Sean Spears stuff. You still have Sean Spears speaking out, trying to get over on Wardlow. We had Wardlow showing that he should have had the match won, and now we're, like I said, when we get this. When Wardlow power bombs MJF, that pop is going to be quite something. I mean, that might be one of the biggest pops, we see, until the next pop. But anyways, that's going to be a fun, dynamic to see. So, and then, Punk, getting that inside cradle at the end. It wasn't the best one, but, it got done. And that was the thing. I'm like, okay, you're going to give Punk your first loss. But then I thought, no. I think you said it's probably got to be MJF giving Punk his first loss. I mean, that's got to be where we're headed. So, what do you think, Greg, about all that CM Punk and Wardlow business?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, Punk won in the record books, but Wardlow won the match. I mean, he destroyed Punk, and Punk sold it like $1 million. It looked great. Wardlow was a beast, and it's the powder keg, or the fuse on the powder keg for him turning on MJF is so long. It wraps around the earth, but it's going to detonate sometime within the next couple months. It's coming, and you can feel that what they call it, that groundswell of support for him coming up, and he's going to be one of the biggest baby faces. And I also liked it during this match, while he's power bombing Punk to death, that he's starting to show some humanity, some sympathy, and he's ready to cover him, and MJF keeps jumping up, go, no, do it again, and he's looking at him, instead of being the killer bodyguard and mercenary, he's starting to show some emotion. Okay, he's done. right? He's dead. I'm going to pin him now. And MJF being so insistent, and he reluctantly going and doing these power bombs and the facials and everything that he's given us. This is showing that babyface is coming out, and even after with MJF pushing him and yelling in his face, and we're all ready for him to deck him, but he doesn't. That fuse is still pretty long. So awesome match, and Wardlow was really the winner. Despite the schoolboy, it made him look like $1 million. So he wins by losing. Just in how he looked and how they portrayed him, and the soon, but not soon enough, babyface turn that's coming. Wardlow really came out on top in this one.
Yeah, and that's like you said, the symphony will have a crescendo sooner rather than later because it's coming. And that's gonna be a really, like you said, the dynamic as Wardlow as a face, showing some emotion, and just maybe speaking for himself on the mic a little bit. I think should be telling. So we'll kind of see how that all plays out. Dante Martin defeated Will Hobbs. I mean, not just Dante getting another win under his belt. Any thoughts on that, Greg? I don't really have much on it.
No, I still need to see Dante say something, speak for himself, take some moment and give yourself some personality, man. Yeah, you got all the talent in the world, but if you can't speak to me and draw me in, I got nothing for you. I mean, I hope you win your matches, but dude, you got to give me something. You got to speak for yourself and show us that you can talk it like you walk it. I mean, you need the whole package. So, or
even emotion in the match. It just feels like he's very lifeless. He's hitting some good stuff and not even, he's just like he doesn't know how to react to, I get he's still learning, but like you said, is the crowd? I mean, I guess as he hits some of the good flippy stuff, as they say, the crowd will still be into it. But eventually, you got to turn that corner and show something more. So, how about Hangman and Lance Archer as the next challenger? It's always funny to me, Greg, when they do this because you have a ranking system, to build up challengers. But you're like, let's just have Lance Archer come out after Dan Lambert was out there, even though Dan Lambert got taken out by Lance Archer, or like that type. I mean, I guess it's a good hill for Hangman to climb, but this needs to happen on a Dynamite. I mean, hell, it might need to happen on a Rampage. Is anyone buying Lance Archer? I guess technically we should buy him, Greg, but in the sense, should he be the next challenger? I mean, I almost feel like Brian Cage, what's happened to that guy? I don't know if he's hurt. Have you heard anything on Brian Cage?
No, the last thing I saw was his wife coming out on Twitter and bashing AEW for not using her man the way he should be portrayed. So maybe he's in the doghouse or whatever. He is my prediction to be the first AEW talent to appear on WWE TV.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
that's what I think. Yeah. He has that look, big muscle bound dude that Vince McMahon loves. I don't know how tall he is, but it doesn't matter. They can put him in some boots with some an extra inch and a half on padding or whatever. But Brian Cage has a look that Vince McMahon would drool over. So I think
will he get the Ryback chance though?
I guess
it depends on how they book him. If they have him doing Ryback type moves, there'll be some now. Unless the ship could have sailed so far in Ryback, maybe it won't matter. But you do wonder if he could see that, if Vince might throw some money at him because, like you said, he's not doing an AEW. I mean,
and it's I would, like I said, I think that he's going to be the first AEW talent we see on WWE. But that no, there was a report that came out this week that um, there was I forgot if it was Fightful or whatever it was, but it said that Wardlow would be somebody that WWE wants as soon as his contract is up. And
Yeah.
if you look at the contracts that were signed, most of the talent signed 3-year deals when
This
this
is a
started
year.
in 2019.
Yep.
So a lot of contracts are going to be coming up this year. And they're definitely looking at Wardlow and going, there is the superstar.
Because
So-
he's young. I mean, he's not. I don't think he's 30. He might be 30, but I think he's a little bit younger now. Brian Cage is up there though, isn't? He's got to be over 30.
Yeah, I don't know what age he is, but I know the look and the muscles. And it's something that I know Vince
it
would
could
love.
be.
But
Yeah. But then again, I don't know who should be the next. I mean, should we do we get Bryan Danielson and Hangman 3 at
no,
Revolution?
it's time to throw somebody else in there for now,
Okay.
and you can always get back to Danielson 3 anytime.
Yeah.
Danielson probably needs a little time off after the course loaded he carried
Oh yeah.
since his debut, because he was, week in, week out.
Yeah.
So this was a great way to write him off for even a couple weeks, and after 90 minutes of action with Heyman, and you need somebody in the interim. So
Yeah.
our returning Lance Archer, okay, let's do that. But he's not going to rock the boat, but he's going to be just another title defense victory for Heyman. It keeps building up Hangman.
Yeah.
So it's a one-off, and then you get the next big challenger.
How about Serena Deeb and Sheeta? What kind of match are we going to get for them? Do we get a lights out style match for them? Because we keep going back and forth, and we need something to finally finish that feud off, Greg.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is where I wish they could do Hell in a Cell, because that's where we're at this point.
I guess they could do their version of Blood and Guts.
Yeah, this is the most brutal women's rivalry in the game, and it's been great. It's been very cutthroat. Even seeing Sheeta, go to the dark side when
Show
it comes
different
to these
side.
matches. Yeah, I've loved it, and each one takes turns, getting over on the other. But yeah, they definitely need a cage match, which I think is going to be, the final showdown, because it can't be a regular match. It's going to have to be something like a cage where, no rules, you can do unsanctioned or whatever, but it needs to be in a cage and have one big final blow off. So I think that's the right setting for it.
Penta defeated Matt Hardy in front of his family, Greg. That's so sad. Oh, by the way, I guess, did we ask you, were you there live this week for
I
it,
did
or
not
did you
get to
not make
go,
it?
unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I tried, but I couldn't make it.
Too bad the Hardy family couldn't have, got another ticket for you. You could have been Hardy Jr.
I know, right?
Junior. Because the whole family
I know,
was
I
there,
thought-
Greg. I don't know if you saw the pictures. All the three boys and baby girl Evie were all there in the front row hanging out at Dynamite. So that was kind of cool to see the Hardy family, the Hardy crew. But the big debut, Greg, I brought this up before. Brody King debuting with Malachi Black. This is something that we had said. Also, Julia Hart, if I remember right, she was in a black T-shirt and a pair of jeans, right? So maybe that could be or was it jean shorts or something? It wasn't her cheerleading outfit, if I remember right. So, and still has the eye patch. So maybe that could be something, we have brought up that maybe she slowly but surely has to, the poison seeping into her. But cool to see Brody King featured in that spot. I kept thinking, I almost wondered he was supposed to debut last week, because we did have the lights go out a couple times, and maybe they kind of called the audible to wait till this week. with the whole injury to Phoenix, hopefully he gets back sooner, as soon as he can. But what do we think about now? We finally have another member of the House of Black, Greg. What do you think about that?
Well, a few things. First of all, I thought me and Matt were boys. I mean, I hung out with Matt Hardy in a nightclub one evening,
Okay.
and he was super cool. We talked about everything, not just wrestling, and he's a super cool guy.
Okay.
And but we spent a few hours. I bumped into him in like the second deck of a nightclub,
Okay.
and it was a cool experience hanging out with him.
Wow.
And I thought we were tight, but no tickets at the will
No
call.
ticket for you.
I love you mentioned last week that with Phoenix gone, maybe this means Penta's going to get a singles run, which I'm all about that life. Let's get that. Please, 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 wrestling gods, give me a singles run for Penta, and go to Tubi, watch Lucha Underground. Watch how this dude can carry a whole show.
Yeah.
So I need that, and in North Carolina, don't wrestle in your home state because you're gonna lose. And I was happy to see the outcome of this match. It was still a good match with Penta and Matt Hardy. They give them plenty of time to do their stuff, get it in, and have a good match, which it was. And then with the surprise debut of Brody King and Malachi Black showing up, very unexpected. I thought the odd thing was while they teamed up on Malachi Black and were giving them the beatdown, Julia Hart is standing on the apron and she stops it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at her like, what do you mean stop beating them down? This is the guy who took your eye out. And then you get the blackout, and now Brody King shows up. I don't even know who Brody King is. I understand now from what Excalibur says he was from Ring of Honor, but I didn't know who that guy was. Yeah. But he started killing everybody in the ring, and now we have a new House of Black members. So aside from that one head scratcher moment, and maybe that's what you were saying, that she's becoming a member of the House of Black, because why else would she stop the beatdown of the man who, put her in an eye patch? Yeah. So maybe I think in a few weeks that we see Julia in the House of Black too. So that's the only thing that would explain why that happened. But otherwise, enjoyed the segment and get another debut in, and further the storyline. So all for it.
Yeah, a lot of Ring of Honor talent has been shown up on Impact, so it's interesting that Brody King has been showed up here. But I believe him and Malachi had a tag team in Ring of Honor at some point, I would imagine. So that's why they have the history together. So and Brody King, talk about a guy that just looks like a killer. I mean, he's built. He's built like, and that's. There's not many, we kind of keep waiting. We had Miro kind of being that tough, big, Hulk of a guy. We had Brian Cage do that for a little bit. You have Lance Archer, but this Brody King guy can go in a ring too. So it'll be kind of cool to see what he can do. And I'm happy for Ring of Honor talent, to get some time. I mean, like we said, we don't know what's going to happen with that company. So get your money now. I mean, go get a paycheck, until otherwise. So, the Acclaim defeated Bear Country. I still can't believe Bear Country comes out with those cheap ass masks and just looking ridiculous. But and the Acclaimed, I don't know, Greg. Nothing about the Acclaim. I can't get. I've never got into them. I don't know what it is. There's just something missing. I don't know if it's too. It feels like sometimes they are trying too much. They want to try to get that pop when he's doing this stuff, but how are you feeling about the Acclaim? Do you kind of buy into them, Greg, or are you kind of indifferent to them?
Yeah, I'm the same thing. I'm not feeling them. We all going to tune in to see what the rap is,
Yeah.
and it's very John Cena, Doctor Thugonomics light, because it's not even as good as those were. And for the most part, they're kind of flat. They're kind of great.
I don't think their ring work's even
But
that good.
I agree. They still show that they're still pretty new. And the boombox gimmick has been done over and over. Um, so they, I don't feel them at all. So they need something else. Maybe Beyonce, they need a manager with as much talking as they do. But
That could be
they
what.
need to add something.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, I think they've been wrestling as a tag team for a few years, like on the independent scene. So it's like, if you don't have it by now, Greg, like, when are you going to have it? Because, how long does it take? I mean, but then again, you could be like, look at Private Party. I mean, they went from one of the most hottest tag teams to, teaming with Matt Hardy and all the momentum, all the juice, nothing.
Yep.
Until they get rid of that, until that, I don't know if it's going to get back because right now, those two guys just feel like completely lost in the shuffle. So, and then Sammy Guevara defeated Daniel Garcia. This guy has been in a few main events on Dynamite, Greg. Who would have ever thought, he doesn't look like anything big. He doesn't really talk. He has 2.0 talk for him, but the guy could go in the ring and, shows up in the right spots. So a good win for Sammy Guevara. I'm not sure when we're getting, well, I guess whenever Cody Rhodes is better from COVID, but I would assume you probably do that at Revolution, like, undisputed TNT title, right?
Yeah. And I agree. This match was a good match. I took kind of Daniel Garcia kind of lightly because he's always been overshadowed by the 2.0 guys.
Mm-hmm.
But, he looked fierce in this match. He looked like, this guy is going to be a building block going forward.
Mm-hmm.
He's an animal in the ring. So I was impressed by what I saw from him. He and Sammy had a banger of a match. So, good things looking up for this kid, moving into the future. So I see what, they've been putting them over so hard, in commentary and things like that for Garcia, because, now I'm starting to see it. So they need that. They need to, build up these young guys, give them, that valuable time at the top, in those main event spots. And
almost like a Lance Storm type character, like an old ECW.
Yeah.
Like they just let them go out there, do their thing, and then they'll find the gimmick. They'll find the character that they need for them later, which is a different way of going about it, but it's almost working for him. So.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing they're doing for Hook too, because he has the same modus operandi kind of. He, swings his big stick, doesn't say anything, and he leaves. So they're kind of in the same mold. Yeah. So
first,
we'll
Hook
find that
has
personality
Taz as his
for him
dad.
later.
That's just
He's got that.
What's that have? But first off, Greg, no, just a second. Hook does have one of the best, wrestlers, whereas Garcia has 2.0. Like there's a little bit of gap, but yeah, and it does, and the crowd has been clamoring for Hook, which is always, who would have, kind of thought, but that's interesting stuff. Let's look at Rampage, and then we'll kind of close up shop and get ready for wild card. What is it? Super wild card weekend, correct in NFL terms?
Right.
Super wild card weekend. Whatever. Everybody has to rebrand everything. So I'll let you have Dior's choice, Greg. What would you like to talk about from Friday Night Rampage last night?
Well, I only saw half the show, so I will go by on what I did see. I saw the first
One
half.
of us might have just watched 20 minutes of highlights, but I won't say who. Oh, so what were you saying, Greg? That's why I went to your choice.
Yep. Gotta go super quick with Adam Cole building on the whole best friends and
Trent looked good.
Yeah, Trent did look good. This was a really good match.
Come back from a neck surgery or neck injury and fresh fade and just looks different. So
yeah. And these two really went for each other's necks, literally, with all the moves that they were doing. The Saitos and the Panama Sunrises, and just it was a knockout
Canadian Destroyer
type of match. Yep.
Yeah.
Some great action. So this was definitely a match worth watching, and again carries on the storyline of Adam Cole and the Best Friends, or Adam Cole's clique and the Best Friends clique all working together. So
Sean Spears,
shout out for these guys. Yep, Sean Spears, man. Anybody really expected Adam Everett to do anything? No. Or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It's
Then I didn't realize Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander are having a little inside feud. I guess I should have been paying attention to that, but looks like they cost the match last night. The Bunny gets the roll up, so the heels get over, but it looks like Statlander and Hirsch is kind of the side feud to come out of that. I'm going to assume Statlander gets the better end of that, just because she's on a higher plane than Layla Hirsch right now. So, and then Jurassic Express defeated Silvers and Reynolds. I still want Dark Order at some point to win the tag titles. I think that's
what.
Yeah.
Why?
So, at least Silver and Reynolds. Those two guys deserve it. I love those two guys. Johnny Hungy and Alex Reynolds. They definitely. Now, not before. I will say, not before Proud and Powerful. I'll give you that, Greg.
Okay, good.
But at the end of the year, I mean, let them chase a little bit. And if Hangman is still champion, I'd like to see them all kind of, celebrating titles together. But that's because I love Hangman Page, but, whatever. I have a bias.
Yeah, and I'm still hating the whole Dark Order. They need to just disband all of them. Yeah. And if you leave, the couple Grayson and Uno as a team, fine, or Silver and Reynolds as a team, fine, but just blow up the whole Dark Order thing, because there is no Dark Order anymore. There's nothing dark about them. I mean, you need truth in advertising with this group, and that's not it. So we need to kill the whole Dark Order, because we got the House of Black forming, and we don't need two of these dark factions when only one is truly dark. So just blow up the Dark Order, rebrand them as something else first before I can buy into anything that they're doing. I think it's
hard because we don't know what to brand them as, but they're over. So it's almost like you have to keep them on TV in a way. So it's a weird, it's a weird dynamic, I think, for them to figure out what to do with the Dark Order, because I think the crowd, the crowd still pops in them, and I think people want to get behind them. But like you said, what are they? Because we don't know what they are right now.
Yeah, well, that's nothing that an in-ring promo can't cover.
True.
I mean, you bring them all in the ring, you have them bring out the new mission statement and go, "We are the XYZ," and that's the new thing that they are. They're not Dark Order anymore. They're XYZ. So that's as easy as doing one in-ring promo. So there's your answer right there. And then the fans know what they are now, and they can go with that.
And like you said, it is tough because you have the House of Black building up. I mean, unless you get Bray Wyatt, and maybe he could be he's the glue. I mean, I still would have loved to see Anna Jay been a darker character to try to keep Dark Order together. I think that could have been a different dynamic. But like I said, I think they were so over at the time because of Hangman Page. It was hard to steer the ship a different, I guess unless they would have turned on Hangman, then that could have done it. But now it's like, okay, now they're kind of in this weird limbo where, like you said, if you do a promo or just write them off somehow, then you can, let it sit back, talk to them backstage if you're okay. What do we do? Because right now, they are definitely a rudderless ship, as they say. So, all right. Well, that is our show. Anything else, Greg, that I need to catch up on that caught your eye that we missed?
Well, you know what? I just for the fun of it, or just out of curiosity, I did watch last weekend's Impact show.
Okay.
I forgot what it was called. Hard to Kill.
Oh, Hard to Kill. Oh, the pay-per-view. Okay.
The pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The main event was Mickie James and Deanna Prazo in a Texas death match.
Uh-huh.
And it was awesome.
Okay.
So shout out to them for putting on a banger of a match. It wasn't unsanctioned Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, but it was just a level below that. Absolutely, it was great. So if you have time just to watch that singular match, I'd do it. There was the whole Ring of Honor invasion after they had this big 5-on-5 street fight between Eric Young's crew and the Good Brothers against the babyfaces like Mac and Rich Swann and a couple other guys. It was a hot mess. There was a lot of action going on, a lot of violence going on, but it was all too clustered to where everybody doesn't get their individual moments like WWE or AEW is so good at doing. So
that's true.
You see the ideas there, but they couldn't execute it as well as we're used to. It was still decent, but at the end they had a huge invasion of the ROH characters.
So that was Mike Bennett.
I don't watch ROH, so I don't know. Matt
Taven, Vincent.
Yep.
There's another guy, Maria, obviously, kind of like the Kingdom. Yeah. They used to call themselves the Kingdom.
So all of them invaded
there's a fourth guy,
wiped everybody out.
Talk about falling off the face of the earth. How about them Good Brothers? Ever since they've been off AEW. I completely forgot they kind of existed. But
good, leave them there. They can stay on the end of the year.
Yeah. And then I did see Deanna won the ROH women's title, so now she's a champ because she has La Reina, which is a AAA title, and now she has the Ring of Honor women's title, Greg. So I guess that would explain her losing the knockout title match, especially since you were having Mickie James coming in that's the whole advertising thing you're pulling out is Mickie James being an Impact champion. I get, and I'm sure Deanna's I don't want to be anywhere near that because she was already there. She's already, she was down there and she never got her time there. So,
yeah, I heard on the Busted Open guys.
Sorry, go ahead.
What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
I heard the Busted Open guys were really putting over the championship match between Deanna and Roxy, the ROH women's champion, as being a match that was 5 stars.
Okay.
So as much I love women's wrestling, so I'm going to find a moment to go to YouTube and watch it. But they really put it over big as far as how great it was and how awesome Roxy is. Apparently, she's only 20 years old. And she and Deanna brought the house down. So I have to go back and watch that. And
I
kind of want to make
was trying out for WWE as well. So that could explain her losing the title. Because if she's that young, oh yeah, WWE's probably backing up the truck to come, especially now that Cora J turned 21, Greg. So now we need another 20-year-old in NXT.
There you go.
And then I heard Moose is he's trying to put out there the feelers for a Roman match, which
really?
I was like, yeah, because he won against Cardona and who did he beat?
Yeah,
Cardona and
Morrissey, W. Morrissey.
Oh, okay, yes,
Big Cass, known to us as Big Cass. Yeah,
yes. Who said he wants Enzo back down?
That was a good match too.
He said he wants Enzo back down with him at some point, Greg, and I'm like,
yes, do it. You didn't love Enzo and Cass? Oh man,
I did.
Bring him back.
Like that, talk about that ship sailing like that.
Oh, it would still be huge, right? If they came back next week, Enzo and Cass, the whole crowd would go bananas. Yeah. You can't deny that. They would. Yeah. They don't know the backstage stuff with Enzo or,
that's probably what rubs you the wrong. That's probably what rubs you the wrong way about Enzo. Like, you hear some of his stuff and there's just shenanigans out, and I guess I should. And that's probably the hard thing right now with social media. We know so much more about people outside, and I know I shouldn't hold that against him, Greg. But at the same time, it just seems like a shady guy. It seems like there's some
Enzo. Enzo is like Ric Flair. He lived his gimmick no matter.
Yes. Yeah.
On stage, off stage, he was the same guy. Just like Ric Flair. He lived that life 24/7 instead of turning the switch off when he left the arena.
He doesn't know where. Now, Morrissey, W. Morrissey, I'll give him credit. I mean, he knew he had issues. He went to rehab and comes back a better person. So, and, it's almost now that one surprised me if WWE saw that and is like, hey, maybe we do need to get him, big ass back, as that the screenshot showed the one time when his head was in the sea. So it accidentally showed Big Ass as his name. But so all right. Well, I need to get going, but we'll have to now you do wonder if WWE and Impact have a little partnership, Greg, we might have to start paying more attention to Impact as it gets, But like we said, I think this whole Royal Rumble is just a test. It's like a little drop in the water. See if we can get the sides even agreeing on how things will be, how our superstars get used. But maybe Mania is that, next drop in the water that, okay, let's have an Impact wrestler face, our champion or something like that. But anyways, enjoy Super Wild Card Weekend. I'm guessing you're rooting for the Bengals, Greg, right? Because they play the Raiders. If you lost me, or you're fixing your camera there. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. And I can't hear you. Oh, all right. Well, on that note, we'll have to end the show. Enjoy football, enjoy wrestling. Go have a good day.